Welcome in, Giants fans. Today we get a look at the future. You're looking at the Giants' 2023 first-round draft pick, Bryce Eldridge. How do those words sound to you?
It still doesn't feel real. I think we're about 2 months out of the draft now, and every time I hear that, every time I come to the park, and see the situation I'm in, it still doesn't feel real, but I'm enjoying every second of it, and it's been a great ride so far.
I bet. The whole thing is surreal, and we're going to kind of break it down for fans today to get to know Bryce a little bit more. As I mentioned, the first-round draft pick, you grew up in Vienna, Virginia. He is a very big boy, 6'7", bats left, throws right. So there's the scouting report. We know that you were drafted as a two-way player as well. But let's go back to Virginia. And what was the sports scene like back there? And when did you fall in love with baseball?
Yeah, so growing up, I played a bit of everything. I played golf, I played soccer, football, basketball. Baseball had always been my first love, though. I played since I could remember, before I could remember, and I had always been playing with the older kids growing up just because of my size, and it just kind of took off from there. I mean, I played football up until my freshman year of high school, and that was the latest I played any other sports.
So Vienna, Virginia is fairly near to Washington, D.C., so I don't think it's going to be a surprise, the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Baseball hero growing up, and why?
Yeah, so my original hero, I'd say, was Bryce Harper, and then obviously we share the same name, and he grew up playing for the Nationals, and I was super young when he started, so I thought that was awesome. And then he left us, and I was very upset about that.
He left us.
But yeah, it's hard to dislike him. He plays the game the right way. He brings a lot of swagger to the game, and he's good for the game of baseball. So he was definitely my idol, my hero growing up.
Okay, so Bryce was named USA Baseball's top player in 2022. So you played for Team USA. What was that experience like? Any cool travel spots?
Unreal. So we played the tournament in the States, and that was the first time the 18U World Cup had been played in the States in like 20 years or something like that. So being able to wear the USA on your jersey and stand on the line, playing the national anthem, and then you have all the home crowd chanting USA for you every time you do something good. So I'll never forget that experience.
Your path and your decision to not go to school, because you had committed to Alabama, and obviously school was an option for you. So what made you decide to sign with the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had two great options. I go play at Alabama and play SEC baseball, or live my dream out, play here. And I think that's what was most important to me. Is this is something I've always wanted to do, is play professional baseball, and I was lucky enough to get a good shot at it out of high school. So me and my family and my group, my agent, Tucker Ward, we all decided this was going to be the best option, and no regrets. I mean, I'm having the time of my life.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
You were drafted as a two-way player. Did being able to expand on that and be a two-way player at the major league level play a part in a role in your decision with the Giants?
Yeah, that was really big for me, going into the draft, trying to find a team that wanted to allow me to do that. The fact that I could do both, I think, helped me out a lot. I have a passion for both, so getting that chance this early to get my shot and be able to show what I got out there on the mound and in the box was really really important for me.
Well, and you already knew that the Giants believed a little bit in this two-way player thing. They were very much had their sights set on Otani, possibly in the off season. At the trade deadline, it was being discussed, and then of course they drafted Reggie Crawford last year, who's a two-way player. He's already been promoted up to Eugene at this point as we sit here. And I believe Reggie gave you a phone call after you got drafted. Is there anything you can share about that and what that meant to you?
Yeah, so he was one of the first messages I actually saw. I didn't pick up my phone for like an hour after I heard my name called, because I had a lot going on, and I kept looking at my lock screen, and there was like 1,000 notifications.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I opened Instagram, and he had reached out there, and he just said, "Congrats, man, we're happy to have you." And that was like, wow, this is cool. Now I feel like family. He was at the facility for a little bit when I was there in Arizona, and I got to meet him in person, which was cool. And he's an outstanding outstanding human, nicest kid you'll ever meet.
Oh.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to playing with him and sharing the field with him soon.
Absolutely. I mean, we all are looking forward to that day that you two are teammates. So as you mentioned, like 1,000 messages on your phone an hour after you're drafted, you've had a little bit of time, and you also were saying it's kind of hard to believe you're here, but a little bit of time to have it soak in. What do you recall from draft day and when you heard your name?
You know, it all feels like a blur looking back on it. I did my draft party at a restaurant in the main road in Vienna, main stretch in Vienna.
The whole town was there. 15,000 people.
I had my whole family there, all my loved ones, my good friends. I was definitely nervous because you really never know what's going to happen, but I had people around there comforting me, so it was all good. But it all happened so quick, and I got a phone call, and basically it was just like, go look at the screen, and I was like, wow, here we go. And then the emotions just kind of took over. I was crying. Everyone was crying before we even saw it on the TV, and it was a special moment, not just for me, but everyone who was there.
And everybody in your family puts work into it, right?
Exactly,
Mom, dad,
exactly.
Siblings, driving you to practice, making you
God.
food, getting you dinner, all of that. It's a family journey.
I don't want to know how many hours and
Wash
car
your
rides
uniform.
and washing my uniforms and paying all this money to get me
forgot my
equipment.
cleats, Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
So before reporting to the Arizona complex, you were able to visit San Francisco, and Bryce took BP at Oracle Park.
Yes.
What was that experience like? Initial thoughts on the park?
Yeah. Oh, well, initial thoughts on the park is the coolest place I've ever seen. I'd never seen anything like it. It's insanely pretty. And not just that, like the fans immediately just made me feel welcomed. But I was telling my family when we were there, I was like, this is something I need to look back on whenever I'm struggling or whatever I'm going through a slump, or not having as much fun. That's what it's for, is
right.
Playing in that stadium and being able to play in front of that crowd, and that's what it's all about. And it felt like I was a big leaguer for the day, so that was really cool. And I think I was telling Farhan or someone there that I think that day might have topped the draft for me. It was an unreal experience.
All right, let's talk about managing your workload. Of course, we're talking about Bryce being a two-way player. As of right now, you're not pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's going to come back into the fold, but the Giants are concentrating on your defense at first base, plus they've introduced you to right field.
Yep.
So here we go. Let's diversify our skill set. Tell us a little bit about that transition to right field and the differences, challenges you're finding at that position.
Coming into pro ball, I'd never played out. I think I played 2 innings of outfield in my high school career. I've always been a first base pitcher. But playing outfield was something I wanted to do going into the draft, because I feel like I'm athletic enough to not be stuck at first base. So, the first day up at the facility in Arizona, they say you go out to right field, let's get to work. And starting off, I wasn't very comfortable. I never played much, but it's like I said, it's been about 2 months since I got out here, got with the team, and I'm getting more comfortable by the day. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's not completely picture perfect yet, but I'm having more fun out there than I was at the beginning. It's tricky.
You.
It does. Yeah. It's completely different. I mean, it's completely different. Prep to the pitch. Reading the ball off the bat in the air is a lot different. Yeah, different glove. Yep. Having to cut the angles to get to the ball. So it's definitely a lot different than standing around at first base.
Right.
But I'm enjoying it, and like I said, it was something I wanted to do. So
last one for you is just your nickname. And you might have other nicknames, and if you do, please let me know. But I was doing my research on you, and you're referred to as the American Otani. So that's, out of the gate, it's not a bad one. Yeah, and there's no pressure with that name at all. What is that like to be compared to him, and also watching what's happened to him this year? And he's been shut down from pitching. The two-way player's no joke with the workload on your body physically. Any concerns there, and just being compared to Otani, what that means?
Yeah, not a bad comparison right there. I don't feel any pressure that comes with that. I mean, I want to do my own thing. But just being able to watch him and see what he's done, pitching and hitting, it's definitely, you know, motivating for someone like me and someone like Reggie or whoever else is, you know, wanting to get to that level he's at. It's pretty cool, and I know the workload's a lot, but if you have a passion for it, go ahead and do it. Go and get that work done. And it's something that I've done my whole life, is working on my pitching, switching over, taking a little 5-10 minute break in the gym, and then going over doing the hitting stuff, and then the lifting. It's a lot, but yeah, you got a passion for it, there should be no trouble.
Bryce Eldridge, everybody, your 2023 Giants first round draft pick. Thank you so much for giving us this time. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know him a little bit more. I know I'm really excited to watch your career.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.